Hi everyone, my name's Karen and I'm a personal trainer and online coach based in Melbourne, Australia. I put together this 4-week strength challenge for anybody out there who's looking to improve their strength, to get stronger, to become more mobile and more confident in moving their body. So what I need you to do is comment below and let me know that you're in. Just comment and say yes please, or I'm in, and I will email you this PDF. All you need to do is print it out, and we start on Monday. So you'll see that each day has got a series of exercises, 5, maybe 6 exercises, where you will need to either do as many as you can or hold the exercise for as long as you can. You're going to do it once through. Of course, you can have a practice, you can do it as many times as you want, but all I need you to do is once through and then record what you achieve on that particular day. Consistency is going to be key in this challenge, that you do the little bit required each day for 4 weeks. There are 2 rest days, so rest assured you do have a chance to recover and take a break if you need a day off. You can move them around, so you can do a particular set of exercises on any particular day. You don't have to stick to the routine, but I want you to try to get through all of the blocks of required exercises so that you see the progress from the beginning to the end. Once again, consistency is going to be key here. You're going to see the progress. That's going to be your motivation to keep going. So at the end of this short introduction, I'm going to explain each of the exercises and break them down for you. So anyone from beginner, intermediate to advanced are going to have options. So rest assured, if you are a beginner, there are going to be options for you. And all I need you to do is to give it your best. So if something doesn't feel right, or if you're in pain in any way, don't do it. Perhaps even send me a message and I can give you some further modifications or alternatives. But I want you to try and stick to each day's set of exercises and then push through until the end. So once again, please comment below now and let me know that you're in. I will email you that PDF and we are going to get started on Monday. So I look forward to hearing from you and making sure that you're on track and keeping you accountable and helping you to feel stronger. So let's get through all the exercises so that you know exactly what you need to do. First of all, the most important thing is that you start with the correct form and technique. So if you are a beginner, making sure that you are perfecting that technique before you move up to an intermediate level. So starting with whatever is comfortable for you, make sure you stick with it until you feel that you can progress. But what I don't want you to do is start with intermediate and then have to go backward. So pick your level, stick with your level, and if you can improve and progress, then that is a really big win. So we're going to start with the squats and then we'll move through all the exercises. If you actually go down to the bottom of this video where the text is, where I've written a caption, you can see that I've highlighted each of the exercises for very quick access. So you can go straight to the list of exercises, skip the ones that you already know, and make sure that you focus and refresh on the ones that you need to know. You can click straight onto the exercise that needs to be practiced more often. All right, so we're going to start with our squats. Now our basic squat is hip width apart and we're sitting back. So it's really important that you push your bum back to sit down and come up. Your basic squat. Some of you will be able to do 10, 20, maybe even 30. If it is way too easy for you, I want you to grab a heavy dumbbell, like a 5 kilo or even a 10 kilo dumbbell for those of you who are advanced. Dumbbell on the chest, goblet squat, elbow to the knees, and push yourself up and squeeze. Drop and squeeze. The aim is to get as many as you can. You might start with 15 or 20 and then progress to 30 or 40. But if you are hitting 30 or 40, I suggest that you get a heavy dumbbell because we don't want to be here for hours. Now, for those of you who are beginners and you're not comfortable with a squat, for whatever reason it doesn't feel right or you're not too sure about your technique, grab a chair, take a seat, standing up without your hands, sit down. Standing up without your hands, sit down. This is emulating a perfect squat. So for beginners, this is the best way for you to learn how to do your squat. Start with a chair, and if you find in the next couple of days or weeks that you're progressing, you can move to a basic squat. So that is our first exercise. The next exercise is our push-ups. So for those of you who are absolute beginners, we're going to use a wall or a bench top. Incline, drop and push. If that's too hard, use the wall, drop and push. So those are the options that you have for the beginners. For the intermediate, for those of you who are really ready to push yourself a little bit harder onto your knees, and we want to get our chest to the floor. If the chest doesn't touch the floor, it's not counted, I'm sorry. So chest to the floor and push, chest to the floor and push, making sure that your hands are in line with your chest and not too far in front of you. If you can only get 2, so be it. It doesn't matter, but as long as you're doing the correct technique, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out, making sure that your core is tight, that you're not sinking in your lower back, and dropping your chest to the floor. Again, you might only get 2, 3, 4, or 5, but hopefully in 4 weeks' time, you'll be feeling the difference where you're getting 9 or 10 reps. That's the aim of this challenge. For those of you who are advanced, obviously, onto your toes, you know what to do. A normal push-up, straight into it. Let's move on to the next exercise, which is a plank. So, we're going to come onto the elbows, and we're going to bring our feet hip-width apart and pull our stomach in. Once again, we don't want to sink through the lower back. We want to keep the core tight. We want to keep our forehead over our hands, so we don't want to be too far out in front. And if you are a beginner and need to drop onto your knees, then just start on your knees and hold that for as long as you can. If you can hit 30 or 40 seconds on your knees, then you're definitely ready to hold a regular plank. And the goal will be roughly a minute. If you can hold the plank for a minute, then you're probably ready to move into a single leg plank. So just holding one leg up for as long as you can, and then you need to match it, obviously, on the other side. So that is our plank exercise. Of course, please let me know if you have any questions or need any further modifications. Moving into our next exercise, which is our glute bridge. So everybody should be able to do a glute bridge. We're lying back here, and we have our feet hip-width apart. Engaging the core, feet not too far away from the bum. Engaging the core, we're going to squeeze our glutes and push up and hold. So you'll need your stopwatch here again. And holding our glute bridge for as long as we can. For those of you who this is way too easy for, once again, grab a 10-kilo dumbbell, push and hold for as long as you possibly can. This is our glute bridge. We also have an exercise called a hip thrust, and I will show you the difference there a little bit later. I'm just getting through the first day's worth of exercises here for you. Our glute bridge and holding here. We're going to finish off the first day's exercises with a full sit-up. So, intermediate to advanced, we're coming up, elbows past the knees, come down, and again, up, elbows past the knees, and again. Try not to use too much momentum, where you're really swinging the body. So just keeping the arms out in front, or you could even do the old school hands behind your head, as long as you don't strain into your neck. And for those of you who need a modification for that one, can you try doing your basic crunches? So you'll just have to count how many can you do here, trying to keep your head up. So notice I'm not dropping my head back with the crunch. Don't want to swing the neck. I want to keep the head up, the chin tucked into the chest, and just focus on your crunches there. So that is our first day's worth of exercises. We're going to move into day number 2, which is our sumo squats. Sumo squats, legs are out wide. So if you can imagine a sumo wrestler here, we're going to go into our sumo squat, where I need you to come down so that you are parallel to the floor. If you're only coming down a tiny way, that's fine. For beginners, mark it off, check it off, but your goal will be to get lower. So as many as you can. And once again, if this is too easy for you, grab that 10-kilo dumbbell. Maybe you'll do 5 or 10, but challenge yourself, really feel it in your thighs, and we hope that by the end of week 4, you'll be doubling or even tripling what you're able to do on your very first day. Moving into the hand plank here. As it describes, hands and plank. Feet are hip-width apart. And we are holding our hand plank. So stomach is pulled in, hands are directly underneath the shoulders. So again, make sure that they're not out in front of you. Make sure you don't have your bum sticking out. Bring your body forward and squeeze into the stomach, into your plank. For those of you who are beginners, you might want to come onto your knees, or you might even need to do your basic plank again. So modify it to suit you. Keep a record of what it is that you're doing and what you've achieved, and then we can move on. Our hip thrusts. Let's have a look at those. We're actually going to be elevating our upper part of the body here. So you can use a couch, which is probably going to be the most comfortable option. I'm going to use this chair, which is not going to be very comfortable, but I'll give it a shot. We want to have our shoulders elevated. So if you're on a couch, this will be the best option for you. And you can see my upper body is elevated. And like we did with the hip thrust, we are pushing our hips up. So I'm now in a tabletop position. So it doesn't matter if the couch is a little bit lower than this chair, or even if it's slightly higher, but you want to have your upper body elevated off the ground so that you can get almost 90 degrees in the knees. Once again, squeezing the glutes, holding yourself up, hands on your hips or whatever is comfortable for you. If it's too easy, grab that 10-kilo dumbbell. Hopefully you've got your stopwatch ready and you can time yourself through the hip thrusts. All right, so let's move on. Wall sit hold. So you'll need a wall for this one and you'll need your stopwatch for this one. Basically, you're going to put your back up against the wall and you're going to come all the way down as low as you can, 90 degrees in your knees and 90 degrees in your hips, and hold. You don't want to have your feet too close to the wall because that's going to put a lot of pressure on your knees. And if it's too far out, you're going to be extremely uncomfortable and you won't be able to hold yourself. So find that sweet spot. Keep your back pressed against the wall and hold. You will feel a serious burn in your quads and hopefully you'll feel it a little bit around your knees, but it shouldn't be hurting in your knees. So if you do feel any pain with the wall sit, then just make sure that you give that one a break. Perhaps just record a little bit of time there and gradually build yourself up. But you want to make sure that you're stretching after that one and just making sure that you are supple, getting the blood flowing and not just getting stuck in one position after you've done those particular exercises. We're going to move on to the single leg deadlift. Now this is a great exercise for balance, challenging your core, challenging balance. We're going to focus on one leg and you'll record what you manage to do with one leg, because what we need to do is make sure that we always keep it even. So you want to start with your weaker leg or your weaker arm, whatever it is when you're training something that is a simultaneous exercise for different body parts, that you always start with the weaker side, do as many as you can, and then match it. Because if we start with the stronger side and then the weaker side can't keep up, then the stronger side is just going to keep on getting stronger. So doing this one next to the wall or holding onto a chair if you need to, we are going to drop one leg and the opposite arm. So I'm starting with my weaker leg and my opposite arm, and we are going to drop down, keeping this leg semi-straight. It's not locked out, there's a soft bend, and I'm tilting forward and I'm coming up, trying not to touch the ground. Drop forward like a pendulum. So for those of you who are beginners, hold on, don't worry, and you will touch, feel the stretch and come up. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. That is your single leg deadlift. Without holding on, do as many as you can. You might get 4 or 5. Record what you succeed in doing for your single leg deadlift and then just match it on the other side, a bit of practice there. So that's a great exercise, once again, to challenge your core and to challenge your balance. Side plank. We are literally lying on our side. Elbow is underneath the shoulders. Beginners can have your knees bent and we're going to push up and hold. So again, you need your stopwatch here. Intermediate, feet out here and up and hold. Advanced, you can raise one arm, you can raise one leg. Choose whichever level you like and just remember to repeat that each time this exercise comes up. Time how long you can hold it for and record that. Let's move on to the canoe hold here. Basically, you're going to be sitting on your bottom. And I need you to find a position that is going to be comfortable for you. If you feel this strain in your back, you've gone too far. Chin is tucked into the chest. We're leaning back slightly, squeezing into the stomach, arms out in front so that you start to look like a canoe. If you can hold that, so be it. If you can lift up straight and hold, let that be your intermediate to advanced level. And once again, you'll need the stopwatch for that one. That is your canoe hold. Holding yourself in, chin tucked into the chest so that you don't strain through your neck and shoulders. And the last one for this day's exercises is a reverse lunge. So for those of you who are comfortable with a reverse lunge, all you're going to do is step back, step forward and change legs, alternating. You're going to do as many as you can, but you need to make sure that you do it evenly. So it's 1 and 1, 2 and 2. The goal is to get your back knee as low as you possibly can. So for those of you who are beginners, you might only get 4 or 5 reps that are proper reverse lunges. You can by all means hold onto the wall or hold onto your chair, but I still need you to get your knee down. Now this is a really safe one, even though this is a really challenging one. I'm protecting my knee. I have my knee above my heel and I'm pushing straight up using my quads and my glutes. Pushing straight up using my glutes and my quads. It would be different if I was stepping forward and putting the weight forward into the knee. You can see my knees coming over my foot here. So that can be a bit of a danger zone for people who aren't experienced with this particular exercise. So instead of doing that, I'm keeping you really safe, getting you to step backwards. You can hold on to the table or whatever it is, but making sure that you get that back knee down. Just do as many as you can. Don't worry if you can only do 2 or 3 reps. Once again, by the end of the 6 weeks, this should be, 4 weeks, this will be a great way for you to see your improvements. Now moving on to the last day's circuit of exercises that we've got here. The first one is actually a squat jump, and I want you to use a step. Now I don't have a step here to demonstrate it for you, but if you can imagine a staircase in front of me, I'm just going to jump on to that first level of stairs. So it's basically a big jump onto it, landing in a squat, coming up slowly and stepping back down. Squat jump, step back down. Squat jump and step back down. So if you don't have stairs, you could do a sumo jump, out and in into a sumo jump squat, but play with that one and find what's going to work for you. This is really a great cardio and power exercise as well. I want you to do as many as you can. Feel that burn in your legs, in your booty, in your thighs, and once again, see the progression from there. Mountain climbers are next. We're in a plank position to start, hand plank position. I'm going to bring one knee in. Then we're going to switch and switch and switch. The idea of the mountain climbers is to go fast. Switch, 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 switch. Now, please note, there's no bouncing of my body, there's no bouncing of my bum. We're trying to keep the body as controlled as possible. So try not to do this. Keep the body down and switch those legs alternately. See how you feel. Some of you might only get 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, and then that might be enough. But hopefully over the course of the coming weeks, you'll feel the improvement. Once again, if it's not comfortable for you, don't do it. Go back to a plank or go back to the hand plank and see how you feel. But that is a great exercise for you, challenging your core, challenging your balance, and yeah, it's a brilliant exercise. So give that one a go. And I'm just catching my breath here and trying to figure out what to do with you next. We are going to move into the glute bridge pumps. So similar to the glute bridges that we did holding our glute bridge, we're just going to do a pump here. So it's a repetition exercise, pushing up and down. Once again, doing as many as you can, making sure that you're feeling it, that you're squeezing into the glutes and really feeling the glutes working. If you need to add some weight to it, then grab a heavy dumbbell again and challenge yourself. Because we're only here for a short time, we want to make the most and we want to really challenge the body. Moving into our second last exercise, which is our hand plank with shoulder taps. So I will show you here on the angle, once again, our hand plank. And our shoulder tap means we are literally tapping the shoulder. 1, 1, 2, 2. You're going to do as many as you can, squeezing the stomach muscles in, holding that plank position and making sure that you are feeling the muscles working. And try not to bounce, try not to use momentum, but really strong and controlled, holding and moving the arm to tap into the shoulder. So count as many as you can, record it, and let's see some progression there. Our last exercise is a tricep dip, using your couch once again, or a chair. I always say, place your hands under your bottom first, because a common mistake that I see is clients start with their arms really wide, and that can put a lot of pressure into your neck, into your traps, and an awkward position in your shoulders and your elbows. So bring your hands under your bottom, tuck your elbows in so that they don't flare out. We want to keep those elbows tucked in, and then we're going to drop our bottom down off the couch, off the bench, off the chair, and push into the back of our arms. I need you to try to get down low. So once again, you might only get 4 or 5, and that's okay. Let's see the progression over 4 weeks. Pushing up and drop down, pushing up, drop down, breathe out, in, in. And that is our tricep dips here. For a challenge, you can have your legs straight out in front of you, making it a little bit harder. Drop, push, and again, make sure that you get all the way down. I hope that you will give this a go and really give it your all. Push yourself each day to try and progress, even if it's just 1 or 2 reps every day. By the end of the 4 weeks, this is going to be an amazing progression. I look forward to hearing as to how you're going or how you do at the very end of this. Please keep your comments coming through and let me know if you need any support along the way. Let's do it. Stay well, stay safe, and stay active.